Bloody Mary Podcast.
Coming to you live, coming to you loud, coming to you hot.
Welcome to the Bloody Mary Podcast, where we talk about all things horror while drinking a Bloody Mary. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Tammy, and we are totally married.
Yep.
We got our Bloody Marys, and tonight we are talking about and ranking Rob Zombie films.
Rob Zombie's
Yeah.
movies. Bobby Zimms, Robert Zimbles. Here we go. Before we get into it, go check out our website and our
Amazon wishlist.
Amazon wishlist. Yes, www.bloodymarypodcast.com. We have an Amazon wishlist there. Get us stuff if you feel like helping and supporting. Small things like Bloody Mary mixes and bigger things like gear equipment.
Yep. And then there's some merch too on the website. T-shirts, hats, all that jazz.
Yeah, go check it out. And if anything, give this video or whatever a like. Hit
Share.
the like.
Yeah, hit the like, hit the share button. Let us know what you think.
Hit all the buttons.
Hit all of the buttons.
So we've been wanting to do this one for quite a while. It's taken us like, I don't know, half a year to watch his movies.
Yeah.
But because we watched like the first half, and then there was like a big pause where just life happened, and now we finally like sped it up and watched like the last handful recently. So spoilers, we're gonna spoil all of Rob Zombie's movies.
Yeah,
So-
all of them. So if you've never seen them, pause the video right now
all of them.
and go watch all 9 of them and then come back.
Potentially all of them. I mean, come on. If you're like, yeah, I'm so pissed he spoiled the Munsters. Like, well, fuck you. Like, get out of here. Like, that's so dumb.
We deeply apologize. We don't. Sorry, not sorry.
So we're gonna, just rank them. We're gonna do our worst or least favorite and to our favorite.
All right.
And we kind of have an idea of like what each other's were. Like, I think half of these we watched separately and half we watched together.
We did. I'm really positive that our least favorite is the same. But
yeah. So just talk about Rob Zombie for a little bit.
yeah,
I'm a Rob Zombie fan.
same.
I've been a fan of his since I was a kid, and before it was just Rob Zombie, I had White Zombie, Sexorcisto Devil Music, Volume 1 on cassette tape, playing it in my boombox, skateboarding around. Like,
That's awesome.
Back in the day. And then I've like followed him as a teenager and young adult, saw him live a few times. And I remember one of the concerts I saw, had to be, it was early 2000s for sure. He played footage from yet to be released House of a Thousand Corpses.
That's awesome.
And this is like, before the internet was crazy, before there were phones. So we went there, we saw, and then he played on the background like clips and stuff from House of a Thousand Corpses and played a couple songs to it. I think he played the song that's actually in A House of a Thousand Corpses and then another one. So there's like, I've been there since the beginning, from like when he started making movies.
Right. I have seen one Rob Zombie concert.
Mm-hmm.
It was my second concert that I ever went to. I was 19 years old and I was 9 months pregnant.
Badass. James is in there going,
Oh God, James was like kicked the whole time, and then there
That's
was
funny.
drunk guys behind us that tapped me on the shoulder like every 15 minutes, like, "Hey,
you gonna give birth?
are you gonna have a baby yet? Because you look like you're gonna."
metal if there was blood all over the
Yeah, are you gonna name your baby Rob? Because that would be so hardcore. And I was like, yeah, you'll be the first to know if my water breaks. I'll tell you, okay? And he was
really
like,
rad.
and so the whole concert was just like tap tap. Hey, nope, not yet.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, my very second concert was Rob Zombie 9 months pregnant.
cool.
James's first concert while he was baking in the oven.
That's ridiculous. That's fun. So yeah, I've been a fan of his. I'm still rooting for him, even though some of his. We'll just get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So, least favorite Rob Zombie film. So there's 9 of them. Who wants to go first? Me or you?
I'll go first.
Okay, what, ma'am, is your least favorite Rob Zombie film?
Fucking 3 from Hell.
What? Weird.
That's so strange. Fuck this movie.
You know what? This one we're just going to do together. That's mine, too. Mine, the least favorite, it's 3 from Hell. We'll both just talk about it.
On my notes, I put, it's already boring. I demand this movie be over. with my least favorite person and a random ass clown. This is torture.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I drew a lady with really saggy boobs. That's what I did
Really
while
what?
I watched this.
Saggy boobs?
Really saggy boobs. That's what I did while I watched this movie because I was bored out of my fucking mind.
3 from Hell is a train wreck. It's boring. It's horrible. It's nauseating. It's nauseating to watch. We made it through the first act. We'd seen it twice. We watched it the first time, and we're like, "Oh, this sucks." And I think it even made it made like one of our worst movies of the year it came out.
Right.
So we watched it again. We watched this one together, and we made it through the first act. And I looked over. I'm like, "Can I fast forward through some of this?"
Yes. Please fucking fast forward.
It's so bad. It doesn't feel like there's passion anywhere. There's no passion in the acting. There's no passion in the directing. There's no passion in the cinematography. There's no passion in the writing. It's really boring, and it's such a travesty because this is the third in the Firefly trilogy.
Right.
And House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects are by far superior.
Oh my God.
It's like, this is like the dollar store version of those movies, and it's such a letdown because The Devil's Rejects had such an iconic ending in horror film, and they just ruined it with how they brought him back. Like, oh, they just survived all those bullet wounds.
Right.
Like, there's so many cooler ideas. Like 3 from Hell. Well, that image is like, oh, are they in hell? Are they fighting their way out of hell? Is this more of like a supernatural throwback to House of a Thousand Corpses?
Right.
But they just survived it.
And then it was just a trashy train wreck. The rest, I fucking hated that movie so much.
It's not good. It's really bad. And, I feel bad if they tried to make something good, but I just don't know. I think everything that went wrong could have. I know, like, they lost, like, Sid Haig. He was really sick and couldn't do it. He was dying, and then he died, like, shortly after the movie was released. And from what I understand, he was supposed to be in it, and they were getting down to the wire and realized that he wasn't healthy enough to do it, so he had to, like, do rewrites on the fly. But still, like, unless you had to completely change your script and change your locations and change nearly everything, it's so sad. Like, because the House of a Thousand Corpses is a fun 80s throwback, really colorful, that kind of thing. And then I didn't know what to expect with Devil's Rejects, and I saw it. It was like gritty. They went like a different route completely. So there's an opportunity for 3 from Hell to do the same thing tonalistically, like to change it and make it like a different kind of film to surprise us. But really, they just like took the lamest parts of both. Like, they just sucked. It just sucked.
There was so much
so
like
bad.
We had like all these drawn out scenes, like they're playing cards. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
I want to see them kill people. I want to see them be Otis and Baby. I do not want to see the guy. I cannot stand his fucking face, who's in every Rob Zombie film. But whatever. But like
Richard Brake. I know I'm warming up to the guy in certain roles. But it's just like, that's who you put in for Sid Haig,
right?
That's really like, so. For instance, they had Ron Howard's brother. What's his fucking
Clint
name?
Howard.
Clint Howard. He just showed up as a weird cameo. Made no sense as a clown.
Some random ass clown and like
idea. You can't have Sid Haig do it. Have Clint Howard be one of the 3 instead. That would have been way more interesting than Richard Brake.
It would have been like it could have been like his brother or something, like an uncle.
I
to
don't
them.
know. Yeah,
it was just so. It was so fucking disappointing.
Yeah.
After the first 2, it was like, that's how you end this. That I understand all the stuff with Sid and the rewrites, but like. That is the like, but how can you just be like, no one was like, hey bro, this is boring.
Yeah that's what I think.
hey man,
Rob Zombie needs like a no person,
like, hey man, this is bad.
Yeah.
Or like his wife, for fuck's sake, I don't really like this movie.
Yeah, like I understand, like he makes movies with his friends and his family, and just to be able to do that and to not have anyone tell you anything, and you don't give a fuck, you just make what you want to make. I do respect that.
Absolutely.
But on the other side, sometimes you get a product that sucks.
3 from Hell.
Yeah. The only like person that actually acted in there was Pancho Molar or Molar. He was the midget. Like, he was the only one who acted. Like, he gave like a bit of emotion when like him and Baby were like, he was falling in love with her, and you could actually see it in his eyes. Like, he showed up to act that day. He was the only one.
He was the only one. Everybody else phoned it in.
Everyone looked tired.
They looked tired. They phoned it in.
Yeah.
They were just like...
Three from Hell is such an anomaly for me. I don't know. It just seems like everything that could have went wrong, and this is what we got.
And that's what we got.
I remember getting tickets because they were doing like just special premieres, right? No wide release, but they were doing a special one. I got tickets because I was excited because I didn't know too much about it. And then it's never a good sign when they cancel that and refund your money.
Right. I remember you going, they canceled it and refunded our money.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned. Like,
Yeah, right.
I'm concerned now what this movie is going to be. And then didn't they send us the DVD?
No, that was from a different film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was from, that was Jeepers Creepers 3.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
They refunded the money and sent me a free Blu-ray. Yeah, I mean, Three from Hell is really bad, and it's really sad that it sucks.
It is because, like, it was very sad, disappointing.
Yeah. Oh my God. Slow motion. He used way too much slow motion. Like, he has like. In House of a Thousand Corpses, I believe there's one really cool, interesting slow motion scene. But here, it's like, I don't know, there's 10 to 20, maybe not 20, but there's a lot of scenes that are just slow motion for no reason, as to maybe like extend the runtime of the film. Because all they do is break out of jail and go to Mexico, and that's the movie. That's the movie.
Right.
Okay.
Moving on.
You want to move on to the next one?
We are. What's your number 8?
My number 8 is The Munsters.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
2022, sitting at a 4.5 on Internet Movie Database. The Munsters it's nothing special, but it's not bad. Like, we watched it and we were pleasantly surprised by it. We laughed more than we thought we would. But it's way too long. It's his most recent thing, and it's like, oh fuck you. You cast your wife again,
right?
And I get it, I do, but still, it's like, yeah. I mean, I think this one, it could have had a chance if it was advertised differently. I think I've said this before, but they should have really leaned into the late '90s, early 2000s, like, marketing for it, because that's kind of what it looks like and feels like. It was a like late '90s, early 2000s cable television release, and if they would have advertised it like that, that would have been a lot of fun. And really, it could have used another pass in editing for sure. It could have lost a half hour. I looked up the editor for this, and it is a very lackluster resume for editing. Let's just say that. Nothing. There's not. Yeah, I mean, this one. There's other ones that are better. Like, his last 2 movies for me of just like, oh man, what are you doing? Like, I keep wanting him to like,
give us
get back into like the thing that he used to have.
Right.
And I just don't know. If he's just not giving a fuck lately, or if it was a case of, maybe this is alluding to, foreshadowing what like my favorite stuff is. Like, was he better when he was younger? Mm-hmm. Right. Is it a case like that? I just don't know. The Munsters. Yeah. That's mine. What's your number 8?
31.
31, huh?
It is, yeah. Because I was like, it's boring. That it was just boring to me. Like, I remember watching it
We
the
watched
first
it
time.
together the first time.
And then I used to fall asleep to it because all this... I used to fall asleep to it because all the screaming was nice. But... Help me. Please. Don't help him. He's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, 31. I like the concept, but the execution of it just really bothered me watching it the second time. Fully watching it the second time.
I agree. I think that they have a really good concept, and there's definitely things that could have been executed differently to make it more of a classic.
Right. And then they had some good casts too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it just fell so flat, and I think that's why for me it was 8, because they had such a good concept, and I was like, oh, I like that, where they kidnap people and put them in a warehouse and murder. Like, that could have ended up so cool. and it just fell so flat, and I was so bored. I was like, oh, I'm bored.
Yeah, because 31 is a good premise because it's on Halloween night in
like the 70s.
The 70s, and a bunch of carnies get kidnapped and brought to a warehouse, and they have to survive.
Yeah, and it's
the
like
night.
These three, like, they place bets like, oh, who's this person's got a 50 to 1 odd or to survive. Yeah. So I liked it. It's a great concept. I like that concept. I just didn't like how it was executed.
Yeah.
So it was disappointing.
31. I can respect that. Yeah, I can see it for sure.
All right, what's your number 7?
Number 7. So this makes it so between 8 and 7 could have been flipped around, but 7 gets a little higher up because of certain things. 7 is Lords of Salem.
Okay.
2012, 5.2 on Internet Movie Database.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start with the positives of Lords of Salem. It's shot beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
Sherry Moon is the hottest she's ever been in this one.
Agreed.
It sets a mood and it lives in it. I think he really knew kind of what he was doing and what he wanted for this one. It has like kind of a nostalgic connection for me because before we started dating, I borrowed you this movie.
Yes.
To watch it because we got talking about movies. And so that's how it gets moved up a little bit for me. Mm-hmm. The negatives for me, like on first watch, it was interesting. And it was interesting to see him come off of doing bigger stuff and like how he could handle a smaller budget with a smaller movie and a smaller story. But it was kind of boring when watching it. Like I think for maybe the third time I've seen it, it was pretty boring. Mm-hmm. The ending just gets bizarre and wacky. It's just a lot of a lot of imagery. I don't want to watch it again.
Right.
I don't want to watch The Munsters again. I definitely don't want to watch 3 from Hell again.
Right.
But I respect this one more than the others for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's really about it. The music was annoying. That the record they find, like the music, the song, it was really annoying to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's my number 7. What's yours?
My number 7 is Lords of Salem.
Yeah. Oh, weird.
I actually liked the Witch record music.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. So
probably like some ASMR shit. It's like,
yeah. I really liked it. But I also was bored. I was bored watching it for the second time, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of boring." And then, but I did like the Witch record, and I do love how it's shot. And I love her bedroom with the moon with the fucking bullet in it, and like
all the set design and the shots, especially those wide shots of the building, was really cool. It reminds me, I think he was doing some early Roman Polanski probably, and some Suspiria as influences, that kind of thing. Yeah.
But yeah, in my notes I was like, okay, I'm bored again. I like those two better as Herman and Lily.
Oh God.
Shit gets weird. And then it ends.
Yeah. Oh, and like the little weird Satan baby.
Like, what the fuck is that?
And she's holding on to it, and it was such a comedic, like a goofy thing. She's like, oh, you can tell like it's supposed to be like those tentacles are shaking her, but you can totally tell she's shaking them. It's so dumb.
And so when you loaned me that movie, I was like living at my friend's house, and James had come to stay with me, and I was like, do you want to watch it? And he's like, yeah, sure, let's watch it. And then he looked over at me and he was like, what the fuck are we watching, Mom? And I was like,
he's probably like 14 then or something.
14, 15. Yeah. He was like, what are we watching? And I was like, Lords of Salem. And he was like, not my favorite movie.
Yeah.
And there's just like, he was just like, what the fuck, Mom?
Yeah, that's awesome. You're like, this is what I'm into now.
Well, he knows I like horror movies, so that's not a surprise. All right, what's your number 6?
Number 6, so I have to say, like, kind of these on up, I can watch them again. Like, I wouldn't mind. Number 6 is The Haunted World of El Superbeasto.
Okay.
It's at 5.8 on Internet Movie Database. This one, it's animated. It's a cartoon. He did this one after his Halloweens before Lords of Salem. It was kind of, this was like a nice, refreshing one to watch in between, kind of like all of them. It was a good palate cleanser. There's so many boobs in this.
There's
I
so
loved
many
it.
boobs.
So many. It's
So
just
many cartoon boobs.
Raunchy. I loved all the boobs. I love when I forget the character's name, but it was the one Cherry voice was taken off and your titties, and she has the robot partner that just wants to bang her the whole time.
Right.
Yeah, it's just goofy and silly. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of boobs.
Right.
There's cool little nods to, because I think Bill Moseley and Sid Haig's character from the Firefly family are in there. They run over Michael Myers at one point, which, I mean, he just made the Halloweens and now he did this running over Michael Myers.
Right.
You know, put those pieces together. It's just stupid, silly fun. And like the negatives for me is I'm not too big of a cartoon guy, anime person anymore. I never was an anime person, but I watched more cartoons when I was a younger man, gentleman.
When you were tiny.
Yeah.
When you were a tiny child.
Yeah, that's my number 6.
That's your number 6?
What's yours?
My number 6 is the Munsters.
Oh, the Munsters. Yours made it up a little higher.
Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised after we watched it. I was like,
I am surprised that it made it this high.
I didn't hate it. I wasn't bored.
Yeah.
And the other ones I was so fucking bored. Like 9 through 7 are just boring for me.
Yeah.
And so at least that one I was like entertained, and I watched the Munsters when I was younger. Yeah. So I watched, that whole series, and then like I think they had a TV movie, and then they had a reboot. Like I watched all of it, so it was kind of fun to see the beginning of their love story. And I wish it was in black and white. That would have been better than the Technicolor whatever was happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was entertained at least, and I was pleasantly surprised. Like we watched it, and we're like, "Oh my god, we're gonna watch some Munsters," and then we were both like, "Hey, that wasn't as bad as we expected it to be."
Yeah.
So I wasn't bored. I was pleasantly surprised. I love the Munsters, so that was fun. It was fun for me. A little nostalgic.
I disagree with that one. I feel like it's not that good. I feel like it should definitely be in the lower totem. But I understand if you grew up with it. But there's the whole world that loves Munsters and grew up with it hates this version of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't, it would have been better in black and white, and it would have been better if they did it, but it was still like.
So they had the love story of them. What else was it? That they had to move? Because Herman accidentally sold the house to someone?
To her brother, the werewolf, who owed money to a dealer. Yeah, the story was like, what is happening? That's not the Munsters, but.
Should have picked one of those. Like Fall in Love or the house story.
Right. Well, how did they get to Mockingbird Lane?
Yeah.
Or Mockingjay Lane or something like that. Yeah. So.
Well, what they would have been fun, talking about the color thing is towards the end when they get to Mocking whatever lane and the song kicks on, maybe then it goes black and white and they're actually in there what? Where'd the color go?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
If they just would have leaned into more fun stuff like that, leaned into how cheesy and bad it looked.
Right. If they would have leaned into it, but again, I wasn't bored, and the last 3 were I was so bored.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh great,
okay,
they cut off someone's head, and it was boring.
Well, whatever. Okay, fine. So are we still on 6? No, we're moving on.
We're moving on. What's your number 5?
31.
Really?
31.
What the fuck? 31?
Yeah. 2016, 5.1 on Internet Movie Database. I watched it the first time it came out. We watched it together, and I was like, eh. But on second viewing, I liked it a lot more.
Really?
I did, except I definitely liked it better. I love the premise. I liked the blood and the kills were really cool. He was doing blood. He was doing some gore again.
He was.
I liked the eating the person at the table was really cool. Mm-hmm. I really like the premise. What brings it down, there's just some things you could do to fix this to make it a little bit better. There's a few things. One is the beginning does not need to be there. It's the one killer, the main killer, walking in, talking to the camera for 5 to 10 minutes, giving a monologue, killing someone. You didn't need that. What you needed to do was open with the carnies and open with you wanting to get to know them. Because that's another thing that this movie kind of failed to do was to make you connect with these carnies.
Right.
And this is something that this movie didn't do. And Rob Zombie, he doesn't get across too well is eras. Because I remember we're watching like Three from Hell and they're like, it took place in the 70s and now it's the 80s. We're like, that took place in the... It's hard to tell, like even like this takes place in the 70s, that it takes place in the 70s if he doesn't just say it.
Right.
And then so it's Halloween and nothing really about it shows you it's Halloween.
It doesn't.
They just say it's Halloween.
Right.
And nothing about them really shows that they're carnies. You just say they're carnies. What I wanted to, like, I would have added like them at the carnival having stuff packing up their gear.
Yeah, that would have been better.
Having conversations at rides, then getting into your van, then driving. So you get to know these people a little bit more. Or have the whole thing take place at a carnival. Right.
Instead of the guy that I cannot stand to open it.
And then, I wouldn't have shown. First off, there's okay. I got some things with this movie.
Yeah, because it should be lower on your list.
I like it. But the main killer, I forget what it is, something Doomhead.
Doomhead.
His name was Doomhead. That was a great opportunity to have a Kurt Russell play that role. Someone with a name with some clout, and then you don't introduce him until later in the film when they need a killer and they have to call him.
Yeah.
Because that's what they did. They needed someone to come in and to like
they
clean
need
up
a ringer.
house
And
call, and that's when you get your powerhouse cameo. You don't show the guy. Even if it's Richard Brake, you don't show him until then. But if you have a name, just imagine if like Kurt Russell played that role.
Right.
You're like, holy shit, and now he's going around killing motherfuckers.
That would have been way better. But they didn't.
Or someone like that. Or even like go sillier. It's Snoop Dogg. Right? Someone like that would be a lot of fun.
Instead, they had the voice of Tommy Pickles from the Rugrats. The little, the girl. Yeah. The little lady.
Oh, is that what Richard Brake played?
No. So it was the giant, like, German guy in the tutu, and then the tiny girl.
Oh, yeah.
That's Tommy Pickles from Rugrats.
Okay.
Anyways, cartoons.
Rugrats, and I wasn't talking about her. I was talking about the other guy. What the heck? Oh,
because Jesus. That was the only good one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. Continue.
And the ending, they didn't stick the landing. Like, I wanted to see them fight. They just stared at each other, like gearing up to fight.
Right.
Film one more fight sequence, or have them fall in love. Like, it could have went either way.
Right.
But I like the concept. I really like putting him in there and they're fighting. It's like a little bit of Running Man. I liked all the acting that everyone did. I thought it was a lot more fun watching it the second time. Definitely, I would watch this one again. But I would go in and make some changes for sure if I had to, I would reshoot a couple things and then give it another edit.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I like the concept. I just wish they would have, a little bit more and it could have been more of a classic.
I mean, I'll fall asleep to it again, but I'm not watching it all the way through again.
Yeah. All right. Enough with that.
Can't believe that was your number 5.
Yeah. I liked it.
Well, my number 5 was The Haunting of El Supervisto.
The Haunted World of
The Haunted World of El Supervisto.
I get that. I mean, it was number 6 for me. It's a lot of fun.
It was fun. It was raunchy and hilarious. And there was so much cartoon boobs. And also, there was the song Tammy in it. Yeah. From the Tammy movies, which are...
got it.
Yeah. Tammy's in Love with Debbie Reynolds. Like... I grew up on that, obviously, because my name is Sammy and those things.
Old movies, yeah.
So seeing that in there and hearing it, I was like, what? It's a Tammy song. Mm-hmm. It was just a lot of fun and funny. And
it was, for sure.
So it was pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
So that's why it made my number 5.
All the boobs.
All the boobs. It was just all the cartoon boobs. And really, that was Sherry Moon's, that's probably one of my favorite performances of hers in his movies. Because her voice fits...
It does.
The cartoon.
Thinking about it, she does have a good cartoon voice.
She has a good cartoon voice. Yeah. She doesn't have a good I star as the star of this movie voice.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah.
So. All right, what's your number 4?
Number 4, so getting into these are all, for me, these are all good.
Yes.
They're all good movies. I mean, we have the same 4. I
right.
just don't know what order
they're going to be in.
I feel like that's the entire world, too. So number 4 for me is House of a Thousand Corpses, 2003, 6.0 on IMDb. That's classic. His first movie. I saw it in the theater when it came out. Nostalgia for sure. I love the look. I love the iconic characters. 80s throwback. Dr. Satan. Sexy leads. They had a couple of names. Chris Hardwick, and then the guy from The Office. I forget his name.
The Dwight guy. I can't remember it.
Yeah.
Rainn Wilson.
Yeah, I love the ending sequence where she crawls out of the dirt, the earth, and the sun rises. I mean, that's all like really iconic 70s, 80s stuff, and he encapsulated that pretty well. Negatives, there's not too many negatives for me. I mean, like I could have used probably more kills, a little bit more gore. I wasn't a big fan of like those cutaway sequences that were just like handheld camera kind of sequences. But Baby was really cool when she got up there and was singing her little Betty Boop song. Yeah, it was just it's a good movie. It's a lot of fun. It's his first one. It's definitely worth watching, and it was the start of the Firefly trilogy.
Right.
Which is sadly a trilogy.
It ended sad.
Yeah, and Captain Spaulding's like he's great.
He is great.
What chicken? Because he had advertising with fried chicken, right?
Yeah.
Was that the advertisement?
I don't like one of my notes is like, I fucking hate clowns and I fucking hate chicken. I think that was in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not surprisingly, that is my number 4.
Yeah?
House of a Thousand Corpses.
Okay, hang on. Wasn't Walter Coggins in that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. He was a cop. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah. Number 4, House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah.
There you go. Look at us.
Kind of the same.
Would you look at us?
I didn't see it in the theater, but I did rent it. And it was...
Got it here on VHS. What?
I really dug the opening and the song and the music and
Music was really good in
the
this.
music was really good in that, and I love all the imagery. I love getting introduced to the whole family and Sid, and he just does a great job.
Yeah.
He's so great.
It's Captain Spaulding.
And Captain Spaulding, and it's just a lot of fun. And then all to find when you get deeper into the house and Dr. Satan and all the fucked up shit that's under there, and
yeah, he went like supernatural-ish, and it's cool.
Her brother Tiny.
Yeah.
Yep. All of that was really cool. I really remember watching it for the first time and being like, this is fucked up. It's great.
Yeah.
By myself in my room, I believe. All right. What's your number 3?
Number 3 is Halloween from 2007.
All right.
6.0 on IMDb. This is really good. It's we've talked about this before, but his Halloweens are some of our favorites. At least it's in the top tier. Positives for this is nearly everything. I love Scout Taylor Compton in this. I love the guy who plays Michael Myers. I think it's a great remake. It's probably one of the better horror remakes out there. I love the ending when she shoots him in the face screaming, blood's going everywhere. There's a lot of boobs in this, a lot of cool kills. Yeah, it's just really good. I don't think, Loomis is awesome. I like him in it too. His wife in this is, I think it's probably the best acting she's done. I think she's toned down and she's playing like a mother character. I think she did a really good job in this one for sure. She's not going over the top. Negatives. I think there's not too many. I mean, maybe it's a little too white trashy in the beginning with like the dad and stuff, but it's still good. Like the scene where the kid kills him with that branch is still disturbing as hell in the beginning. How that was shot. That bothers me. Yeah, it's good. It's a good movie. Yeah, I really don't have anything bad to say about this. I think it's one of his top 3 films for sure.
I agree.
Yeah. How about you? What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Halloween 2.
Oh, yes.
I love the PTSD of it all.
Yeah, me too.
I know we've talked about it on the podcast before when we did our Halloween rankings. I love how it really shows how fucked up she is after the first.
For sure, yeah.
Because one of the things in the originals and the second, they do occasionally touch on it, and they get more into it when you're in H2O and stuff, and then in the new trilogy. But this one is
in your face PTSD.
In your face PTSD.
They're really showing you how it fucked her up.
Yeah, as it should have.
Yeah.
And it will, and it's just, I love seeing all of that, how they fucked her up. And I know, even if he doesn't have his mask on all the time, I just love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. Yeah.
I love the imagery. I love, it was fun how they ended it. And I wish we could have got a third one to see what happens. She's stuck in, she has the mask on, depending on what ending you see.
Yeah, that gets confusing a bit.
Because there's the two versions, and then her just in the white room, like, all crazy. I really wanted to see what he would have done for number 3, which is disappointing that we didn't get it. But then also,
you never
after
know.
his 3 from Hell, he doesn't in trilogies well, apparently.
They're not doing anything with Halloween right now, and maybe they can multiverse the shit out of Halloween. So we can get a Haddonfield series. We can get Rob Zombie over here doing a third one of his trilogy.
That would be great.
We can get a sequel to, I don't know, Halloween 6 with Paul Rudd could come back. Yeah. We can get Halloween, Rudd's Runes.
Rudd's Runes.
Yes.
Want to kill Michael Myers? Put little stones in front of him.
Mm-hmm. That's so fucking dumb.
Okay, what's your number 2?
Halloween 2.
Yeah?
Yeah, it is. And, my top 1 and 2 for him can flip around given how I'm feeling. But Halloween 2 is really good. I hated it when it first came out, and I just more and more I watched it, the more and more I loved it. Mm-hmm. It's just really good. This is like Rob Zombie actually like being himself and making a Halloween film. Mm-hmm. It's shot beautifully. There's a scene where the ambulance and the moon.
Oh yes,
it's really good. What you just said, the PTSD, the character developments, definitely. All the kills are really cool. I just love this movie. I love how it's shot. I love how chaotic it is. Mm-hmm. I like how brutal he is. I really love the opening hospital scene a lot. I think it's done really well. It appeases the Halloween 2 fans because that takes place in a hospital, but then it goes into a different route. Mm-hmm. I really like it. Like the one bad thing I say about it is, even though you see his face, it'd be cool if he wore his mask, but that's probably my one critique. Like, if you're gonna see his face, maybe just do it like once at the end or something instead of him walking around
without it.
Yeah, but I understand it. He's wanting to separate himself from and knowing now, like watching him on some podcasts, like he made Halloween and then he didn't want anything to do with it again because of the Weinsteins. It was such a mess to work with him, and he was signed up to do 3 movies, 3-picture deal. And from what he said, I can't remember what podcast he was on, but he was talking about how they couldn't find a director to make Halloween 2 because Halloween was really successful, his remake. And he said something like they went through like 10 directors. That's crazy. And so he said he would do it if you let me out of my contract so I don't have to do a third with you assholes. So then he made 2. And then, that was it.
And he was like, fuck you guys, I'm out.
Yeah. So... it's really good, and I understand the viewpoint of people that hate this movie for sure, but you're wrong, I'm right.
Yeah, I mean the kills are so like the strip club kill. Yeah. That's number 2, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one. That's great. The curb stomp.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Devil's Rejects.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's fucking great movie.
Yeah.
Like, I hadn't seen it in a while, and then we watched it again, and I was like, this is really fucking good. Like, how did I not remember this was this good?
It's really good.
It is, the first one was good, and then it's so good.
Yeah.
And that's part of why the 3 from Hell is so incredibly disappointing, because Devil's Rejects is so good.
Yeah.
And those 3 characters are just fucking great. And they just, I
know, that's why 3 from Hell is such a disappointment, because you have this fucking behemoth of a film to live up to.
Right. And
it's yours. It's not like you're doing someone else's movie, a sequel to someone else's. This is yours, and you ruined it. And you just killed your own shit. Like, what the fuck? It's so dumb. But Devil's Rejects is fucking amazing. Yeah.
It really is. And the characters are just dialed in, and they're just the kills and the craziness, and it's just it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So, that's my number 2.
Cool. Well, we just bleed into that.
Bleed into it?
That's my number 1.
That's your number 1?
Yeah. Number 1 is Devil's Rejects for sure. I think I think his Halloween movies, that was like the height of Rob Zombie working with a studio. He was on the top of his game working with a studio. And I think The Devil's Rejects is Rob Zombie on the top of his game doing his own thing.
Agreed.
And this movie came out. I saw a trailer and I didn't really know too much about it. And I saw it in the theater and I was blown away because I was expecting like a sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses, but it was something completely different. It was like, it looked differently. It was tonally different. It was like, you're with these criminals. Everything was like naturally lit, not like lit with high colors. And it's like criminals on the run. When that song kicks in, doo 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 in the after the whole shootout, and then
the opening, they're crawling through. Yeah,
that sequence is fucking amazing.
It
That
is.
song is perfect. The music in this is like the best soundtrack he's done for any of his films. The songs he chose, and the iconic ending of Freebird with the car and the
With the
shoot.
kid-
It's so good. It's so, you feel for him, and he did something too. He made you care about these murderers.
He
What
did.
he did is he took like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre family, and then he made you care for them.
right.
And made you like root for them and made you sad that they were not going to win.
Right.
And this is because there was passion behind the camera. There's passion directing. There's passion in the acting. Like
Everyone
fucking
was
Sherry Moon, Bill Moseley, they were on top of their game. They were
Yeah.
really, really going for it. And then I bought the DVD too, and the DVD came with just like it's like 6 hours or something of behind the scenes making of. And I thought that was really cool. I watched all that, and it was like really inspiring to me as a aspiring filmmaker, like watching that. And so I really like looked up to him when I was first starting. But yeah, it's just a really good movie. I think this is the best he's done for sure. But ask me next week and I'll tell you Halloween 2 is the best he's done. But I think that's what it is. I think Halloween is the best he's done with studio. Devil's Rejects is the best he's done kind of more independently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my number one is Halloween.
Yeah. Of course.
Shocking. But it's already, I just remember seeing it in the theater, and Halloween was my favorite horror movie. It was the first one I ever watched as a kid. It scared the shit out of me, but I loved it. And so to get to see it amped up with the gore and the brutality, and just
such a different
I loved
take.
it so much. I was so like, I was just like, this is great. Then I watch it like every Halloween, and I watch it, all the time because I just really love it. I love the white trash upbringing. It really delves into the whole like serial killers are made, are they born type kind of. And in his case, probably a little bit of both. And just the kid is creepy. Like the kid number 2, they had a new kid to come in for those scenes, but the original kid he's fucking creepy. He plays it so good.
He does, yeah.
The killing that kid with the tree branch and just all of it. I love Scout is great.
Yeah. He's really a guy. I was thinking that all the slow motion that he uses too much in 3 from Hell. There's one scene that's like really bizarre slow motion, when the cops arrive at the house,
right?
And the camera's like moving, and then everyone's
like
frozen. It was really good. See, that's like a good effective use of like a camera technique, like slow motion, whatever that was. And House of a Thousand Corpses, he had that when I think the dad gets shot, and they like pan out slow motion. They do it for fucking ever. Really effective when you use it
when
correctly.
you use it and don't use
and
it
you
like
don't
every
just use it all
20
the time.
minutes.
His Halloween is great. It's really, really good.
It's so good. And just like when she's crawling through the walls, and the ceiling, that like
whole thing was great.
The tension and then like you said at the end where she's just like just covered in blood and just screaming, and she's just,
and then you just cut end
and
movie,
and it's just fucking great.
Yep, I know that was
fucking great. And Halloween season is around the corner, so I'll be watching it a couple of times again.
I know. See, like both the Devil's Rejects and Halloween have banger endings.
They do.
Like Devil's Rejects was a beautiful.
It was so
beautiful ending, and then the Halloween ending was just so like fucking that's your fucking ending. Shoot, blood, boom, cut to.
Yeah.
You're like, holy fuck, that was rad. It leaves you like, that was awesome.
Holy shit. Yeah. I just remember like I took my brother and we were both like, oh, that's so great. So just, yeah, that was like the first one of his I saw in the theaters, and it was just my favorite movie remade, and just fucking, and you know, when I got older, like I love the original Halloween, but it, you know, like I remember James watched it for the first time. He's like, it's kind of cheesy, Mom. Like it doesn't really, you know, and this like just amps. Yeah, it was just like, just makes me happy.
Yeah, it's good. I was trying to think. I can't remember what I was going to say. But anyways, Dead Air.
Dead Air.
Yeah.
What? Well, that's our rankings.
Yeah, so thoughts on Rob Zombie as a whole, as a director?
I'm split because like he can do some really great things. Obviously, we've seen it.
Yeah, we've seen it.
We've seen it in Devil's Rejects on his own, like you said, and with Studio. I don't know what's happened lately. So, like part of me is like, just hang it up and like, you know, you just be done. But also like, can you just like come back and make, you know, give us that Devil's Reject feeling again?
Yeah,
you know?
give us the feeling of like, I don't know, revitalize it or something. Like, it really does feel, to me, it feels like after Halloween, this too, it just kind of dropped off. You know, quality. And maybe it was his experience with working with the studios was just so horrendous that it kind of like, it burnt him on working with studios. And maybe it jaded him a little bit with like making films, be like, no, fuck it. I'm just doing my own thing. No one's going to say, when I say it's edited, done, it's done. When I say it's written.
Right.
Maybe it's something like, but I don't know.
But also like he's got some really cool imagery and he's got a really cool brain, you know, and I think that you could pull another really cool fucking fun movie out of it if he really had the passion behind it. He needs to have a passion behind it, I think, because the last one for sure didn't have a passion behind it. You can tell just by watching it. So it would have to be something that he's passionate about and like, you know, throws it at us and we're like, oh, that's awesome. That's the Rob Zombie we want. So I split. I think you definitely see like his loss of, maybe those experiences just jaded him in making films in general a little bit too. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think one of the cool things too, you know, thinking about the Halloweens is like, I think those are the first ones where it wasn't like his wife wasn't the star.
Yes.
And like his
that helps.
The stars was Scout, and then Michael Myers and her friends and Dr. Loomis, and the people he uses regularly, like Sherry Moon Zombie, Bill Moseley, Sid Haig, they had like smaller parts like scattered around, which, you know, that, you know, do that again, like do another movie where it stars someone else, kind of the whole other cast, bring your wife in as a small role, bring whoever you want in with like your buddies,
right,
and have them play these parts, but fucking go and direct Johnny Depp in something, you know, go do something, and give us something cool again, please, because I know you're cool,
because he is cool. Right, like we know you can do it, and
just lately, man.
Just lately, it's just been falling flat, and I know you love your wife, and I know you love to do stuff with her, but like, give her a smaller part next time. Like,
Okay, how about this? So, Rob Zombie is going to direct another horror franchise.
Oh,
what would you want him to do? Like a Rob Zombie Friday the 13th, a Rob Zombie Nightmare on Elm Street, a Rob Zombie Evil Dead. The easy one is a Rob Zombie Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because that's kind of fits in with his stuff. A Rob Zombie Saw.
Fuck Saw. You know, I'd like to see a Rob Zombie Nightmare on Elm Street. Because I think Texas Chainsaw.
That's what I was thinking too.
Texas Chainsaw would be too similar to all of his other stuff.
It would.
So I think Nightmare would be fun to see what he would do with that.
Yeah, definitely, because I think for the most part it's suburban kids, right? Yeah, so you know he'd bring it to White Trashville.
Oh, for sure.
Freddy and like, what would his Freddy look like? It wouldn't be. And like, would he go like bigger and funny too? Like, who would he get? Like, fucking get John Cena. He does.
John Cena is Freddy.
That's
it'd probably be the fucking guy that I don't like. That's who he would pick.
He would cast him.
He would fucking cast him. He would cast
Richard Brake as fucking Freddy. I know he would.
He would.
But if you don't do that and just do something else, it would be interesting to see him do Friday the 13th. Yeah, I don't know. I think that would be fun. Yeah, I don't know what other.
I think he could handle Hellraiser.
Yeah, he could do that. Blair Witch, do that.
Or fucking Howling. He should remake and do some fucking werewolves.
Well,
See
yeah,
where
he
he
did
would
do
take
that.
that.
You know, the Grindhouse segment, werewolf, whatever of the SS, Werewolf Women. I can't remember.
Yeah. So take over one of those and do
Yeah.
something like that. But
Well, anyways, that's our ranking of Rob Zombie's films. And even though there's a good chance it might suck, I'm excited to see what he does next.
I am. I want to see. I really hope that he surprises us and gives us that. Oh, yay! A Rob Zombie, a Rob Zombie film instead of fucking. What are we gonna get?
Yeah. So, what do you think of our rating rankings? What's your favorite Rob Zombie film? What are your least favorite ones?
Yeah, rank it for us. Let us know. Drop us a line in the comments. Like we said, like and share our video.
Yeah. Cool.
And our Bloodies and Marys are dead, and so are we.
Yeah, our Bloodies Marys are dead.
our Bloody
Bloody Marys.
Our Bloody Marys are dead, and so are we.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
The Bloody Mary.